Hey there, divers! Today, we're going to Disneyland! That's right, Divers Disneyland, the beautiful site on the west end of Catalina Island, California. Just east of the far west end of Catalina Island, we have Divers Disneyland, an absolutely stellar spot with the possibility of immensely deep water, lovely kelp, tons and tons of fishy friends. This is a fantastic spot. Divers Disneyland is a site that we seldom get to go to, but it never disappoints. Let's cruise with the boys and have a good old time. Right here, right now. Pop some Dramamine and sleep tight, my friends. I'll see you in the morning. We're going to start our day bright and early as usual with the Giant Stride dive boat in San Pedro. Click this link to see more info about the Giant Stride and what it's like to dive from this beautiful vessel. Excitement builds as we close in on Catalina Island. Dry suits on and get your gear ready. It's time for fun. Dropping in on this beautiful piece of rock face here. We're going to be heading west, and then we're going to be heading east, and then we're going to be picked up by the boat, and then we're going to go to another site, and it's going to be a fantastic time. Sticking our heads underwater, this is our second dive of the day, and once again, absolutely beautiful conditions. Clean, clear, blue water. You really can't ask for more, but what's that? We're gonna get some more, because there's gonna be some absolutely fantastic diving down in this beautiful kelp. Very quickly, we hit one of the defining features of Disneyland, this absolutely massive staircase of square rocks here, dropping down to almost 100 feet, stair-stepping its way up to the surface. It's a really incredible piece of structure up and down. Covered in all kinds of lovely life, all kinds of gorgonians. See way down in the deep there, those beautiful cevallias. Up here, some nice goldens, reds, all kinds of stuff mixed in with the kelp. This isn't the only rock pile that we're looking for today, though. We got the scooters and we got gas. We're gonna go searching for some extra special little rock piles. Continuing westward, we're gonna be fighting the current, and as we do so, we're gonna be running across these magnificent, massive schools of jack mackerels fighting us along the way. If you dive in Laguna Beach at all, you might be familiar with the small schools of jack mackerels they have hanging out in the kelp forest there. Usually just a couple hundred individuals, but the schools that we're going to be seeing out here today are several thousand individuals strong, and we're going to be running into them just about every minute of this dive as we're heading westward in this open, deeper water section. Still just cruising, traveling here. You can see we're about 30 feet off the bottom. That kelp that we're passing by is laid over completely horizontal. We are fighting a stiff current here, but those jack mackerels are making it look easy as they fly past us. Legend says that there's one jack mackerel for every star in the sky, and I'm just starting to believe that story. Going into warp speed here past the mackerels. We're about 90 feet deep, hanging out on the edge of this rocky reef. You can see those big car-sized boulders there on the edge of the slope. We're gonna keep making our way forward until we hit some larger rocky structures. Typically, this is a fairly boring jaunt across the seafloor, but with these schools of jack mackerels, it's kind of magic to just hang out, thumb on the trigger, and watch them peel across the sky. And here we can see one of the smaller members, those larger rock structures that we're looking for. These structures are immense singular pieces of rock sticking up out of that slope, sometimes 40, 50 feet from the substrate they're embedded in. Continuing forward west still, you can see those massive kelp stipes, absolutely horizontal, maybe a 10-degree angle coming off the bottom. That current is really fighting us. You can see those bubbles peeling back from our exhaust. Finally, we find our main goal, this absolutely immense piece of rock west of Disneyland. Similar to the rocks in Disneyland, it stair steps up from about 115 feet all the way to the surface, if you can follow it there. Covered in those gorgeous selections of gorgonians, especially my extra favoritist, the fluffy Sevalias. It's an incredible piece of rock. Looking up at that second stair above us, absolutely incredible. We're chilling right about 100 feet here. We're going to continue just a little ways past that main rock, past these massive car-sized boulders. You can see them absolutely covered in red gorgonians and that nice bull kelp. Looking up, we still have those mackerels against the sky. Again, we're still chilling right at about 100 feet here, so the bottom down where the sand meets the rocks is probably 110, 115, and then you can see that slope going up towards the right all the way to the surface. Coming around this last nice big rock here with that branching Sevalia and the red gorgonian off to the side, we're going to be turning around and getting a little bit shallower and making our way back to the boat. After all that time in the down deep, we've come up a little bit shallower, about 80 feet here, cruising along the slope, flying in formation, all those mackerels now heading upstream against our flow, and we're going to keep going this way until we get back to that main rock structure. Here we are, passing that real big rock, back on our way towards the boat. Hansi's going to get a little excited, get in front of me. I'm just going to clip his little flippers a little bit. It's really cool to watch that school of mackerels as they come around the edge of this rock. You can see they keep a nice 6-foot distance from the reef itself. I imagine they do that just to keep themselves safe from little kelp bass that might jump out from the rocks and try and grab one of them. Sneaky little guys. You can see that kelp doesn't start until the second step on that rock staircase there. I guess we're a little bit too deep for the kelp to take hold. Cruising along that slope, I'm gonna wave hello to my little fishy friends. Hola, amigos. Continuing our cruise, we're gonna hit a little bit of a break in the reef. This smaller gravel here doesn't support the sugar and bull kelps quite as well as the slightly larger rocks. Hopefully in this panning shot, you can see just how steep that slope is going off into the abyss. And us riding along it, we're at probably 65, 70 feet here. We're just meeting up with the edge of the thicker parts of the kelp forest going down that hill. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm trying to put my SPG over my stage bottle to hold its light little butt down. While we're cruising along this gravel ledge here, we see this lovely little sea bass cruising along it. This is a giant black sea bass, an incredibly rare fish. We're gonna make a couple passes by him. We really don't want to bother him too much, but they're just such a cool creature. It's worth it to spend a little time and follow him around. You can see next to Hansi there, who is 6'7". That fish is probably 5.5, 6 feet long. Absolute tank. Here we've shallowed up a little bit more. You can see that we're able to interact with that main part of the kelp forest some. We're going to be continuing along this way for quite a while. You can see that kelp is still laid over nice and flat, so that current is still taking us. Now that we're traveling in the same direction, yeah, we're really covering some distance here. Checking the little SPG on that stage bottle there. This is our second dive of the day, so we're primarily going to be breathing off of those stage bottles. You can see on my compatriots that they're already getting a little bit light, so we're more than halfway through our dive, heading home, using up those Illuminati's. Incredibly, we're still getting those massive schools of jack mackerels glittering overhead, and as we're peeling along the length of this kelp forest, we get these nice stands of kelp, creating little walls between us, giving us something to weave between as we travel. Oh, hey there, buddy. You're looking a bit light. Let me dump some gas for you. Just act natural. Didn't do nothing. No, you don't see anything. No, I'm just checking my computer. All cool. I will do a little dip, dive, dodge, and ducking, peeling underneath this kelp stipe here and making a little S curve back around. Doing another one of those little dips here. I'm really hunching down close to my DPV, squishing in between these kelp stipes. Look at those streams of blacksmiths going through the kelp. A little bit of a bold maneuver, so I'm going to turn around and make sure my buddies are with me. Look at that. They're just up there, following right behind. Good lads. In short order, we've made our way back to this main staircase at Disneyland. I'm going to take a quick dip a little bit deeper, check out these lovely Cevalia gorgonians down here. Checking out the deeper part, it's about 80, 85 feet here. Absolutely monolithic obelisk of rectangular stone here. Very cool to see. It's kind of a strange formation to be sticking out of the sand. The boys are sticking a little bit shallower, so I'm going to come up to meet them along this slope here, passing by these lovely golden gorgonians there on that center rock. From this point on, we're going to be making our way shallower and shallower. And now you might have noticed that that was the main Disneyland rock, yet there's still quite a length left to this video. And you might be asking yourself, how is that possible? Well, we're traveling with the current now. So while it might have taken us 20 minutes to get to our turnaround point, it only took us about 4 minutes to get back to our drop-in point. Now what this means, and since we're not very smart individuals, we haven't realized this, we're going to be traveling a little bit further than our drop-in point, and we're going to end up surfacing about a half mile away from the boat and making Jim come pick us up. Of course, we don't know that yet. We're just gleefully enjoying the kelp around us, so let's try and put ourselves in that mindset and just enjoy it ourselves. And that's pretty easy to do. As you can see, this forest is absolutely stellar to look at. Another fantastic dive here. This second half of the dive here is going to be way different from the first half. Instead of cruising along in the open blue, we're going to be weaving our way through this kelp forest, looking for these lovely little alleyways between the stands of kelp. Even though we're still probably the better part of 50 feet subsurface, there's an impressive amount of sunlight filtering down through the canopy. Checking this bottle again, plenty of gas. We're just gonna be getting shallower and shallower and using less and less gas, so nothing to worry about. Plus, still got probably 160 cubic feet on my back, so plenty of resources to complete this dive and just enjoy the time we've got here. Start your watches. This is going to be about a 2.5 minute straight clip of just weaving through this kelp forest. I've watched this over and over and again, and I just can't bring myself to cut even a single second of footage from this clip. It's truly one of the top 5 dives of all time for me personally. I think weaving through, look at how that kelp is just meandering across the sky there. There's no current in this particular area. We're in kind of a protected little cove here, so that massive stand of kelp can just drape over the open water. There's plenty of space here for scootering in, nice big jumbly boulders. It's just perfect in every way. When I'm scootering through some pristine kelp like this, I like to do nice serpentine motions, going out over the abyss into the deeper water, and then turning a little bit and coming in toward the shallower stuff before making another turn and going back out over the deeper stuff. We don't cover nearly as much linear ground this way, but we get to see a lot more of that kelp forest and hang out in those really wonderful parts a little bit longer. That's right, this shot is still going, and it's still got quite a while to go. Coming across this open field of gravel and boulders here, hit this nice wall of kelp. Look at that big shadow casting down onto us. The alleyways and gaps between the kelp here is absolutely perfect. Super easy to take your scooter through. And coming up to this kelp cathedral here, look at those two big bay windows with a pillar in between them. Sunlight filtering down, the open pews of gravelly rocks. Absolutely incredible. At about 20-25 feet here, I'm shooting through the branches in the upper canopy of these long kelp stipes. Like I said, we're still making our way more and more shallow, but we're still passing over this deep water, hanging out over these branches. I'm gonna do some close formation flying with Diver H here for just a sec. Ooh, don't give me the haircut. I ain't got much to trim. Look at that, absolutely stellar, floating through this canopy. Just the very tips of those fronds bending over in the current. Like I said earlier, we are well beyond our drop-in point. We're probably a whole bay further than where we should have stopped this dive. But that's all right. This is an absolutely incredible kelp forest, and it's well worth making Jim come to pick us up. This here is an absolutely incredible little alleyway, super thick walls on either side, the sunlight filtering through the kelp, making that super amber green light across us. It's just exactly what you hope for every time you sign up for a boat out to Catalina. We finally realized maybe it's about time that we start heading out toward the edge of the kelp forest and looking for our ride. We've come across this boat, making a little circle around it, when I realize, wait a second, that is not the giant stride. I'm gonna stroke my chin here for a second. I think we might have gone a little farther than we intended. At this point, I'm thinking, it's okay. We'll just head to the edge of the kelp forest and we'll cruise along it for a little bit, and I'm sure we'll see the bottom of the giant stride in no time flat. I was very wrong. Thankfully, while we're cruising on the edge here, we get a nice flyby from a local soup cat. Hey there, buddy. We're gonna continue like this for a little bit longer before we realize, shit, we should probably hit the surface and start waving somebody down. Thankfully, old Captain Jim knows to keep a weathered eye on the horizon for overzealous dingbats like ourselves that don't follow the dive plan. That's it for this one. Stick around for next time. We're going to Strawberry Reef. I'll see you then. Safe diving and happy bubbles.